There are a few little things to talk about. It really is a freak show. You know, some might say that she's even better now. The #1 news story in the CrossFit space last week.
CrossFit's awesome.
What is up, you sexy beasts? The CrossFit world goes a little bit quiet after the Rogue Invitational. It's a bit of a lull in the season until Wodapalooza hits in January, and so there hasn't been a whole lot of news. But last week was jam-packed with all sorts of crazy news in the CrossFit space. And so I thought, what a great excuse to bring back the About Last Week videos. Essentially, it's a short video just recapping everything that happened in our space over the last week. And by far, the #1 news story in the CrossFit space last week was Tia and Shane announcing that they are expecting a baby, they are pregnant. And I know as a dad that even though Tia has won the CrossFit Games 6 times in a row, having a child will trump that. It'll be a bigger achievement than what she's already achieved in her life, without a doubt. And so I'm very excited for them to embark on this new journey. And you know what? We have seen 2 amazing athletes. We've seen more than that probably, but 2 come to mind. 2 mums that have come back after having babies that have performed at an exceptionally high level and have been competitive in the sport again, and that is none other than Cara Saunders and Annie Thorisdottir. And Annie Thorisdottir's case, you know, some might say that she's even better now after, you know, giving birth and being a mum. So I am very excited to see what is going to happen to Tia's body and what that's going to mean for her come the 2024 season. I believe, based on her last video, that she is coming back for a 7th title, but obviously she'll have to take this next year off. So Shane and Tia, congratulations, that is amazing news. And then Wodapalooza is just around the corner, and LSKD, they've got a special limited edition drop. Look at these shorts, baby. Those are just naughty, aren't they? Special edition shirt. Wodapalooza shirt. So LSKD, thank you for sending that through, and grab yours if you want it. I'm not sure if that's live on the website yet, but I know there's limited stock. If you're going to be at Wodapalooza, they are also going to be there, so go and say hi. And unfortunately, I won't be at Wodapalooza this year, but I'll be here at home creating content about the weekend for sure. But something that has not only happened last week, but over the last few weeks is Wodapalooza, they've been dropping the confirmed individuals and more importantly the teams for next year's Wodapalooza. What they've done is they've changed the format completely. So rather than have both teams and individuals competing over the same weekend, they are making it 2 days of indie competition on Thursday and Friday. So individuals do those 2 days, and then the teams do Saturday, Sunday. So they've separated them, which means that if you want to, as an athlete, you could do indies and then go on and do the teams straight after. And we are seeing that. So right now, I want to go over the field for both the indies and especially the teams, because the team division is just wild. Starting with the men's field, we have last year's defending champions, Travis Mayer, Noah Olsen, and Chandler Smith. Then we have 3rd fittest man in the world, Ricky Garrard, teaming up with Tim Poulsen and Matt DeLugos. We have Khan Porter, BKG, and Tola. The Smith brothers, Alec, Ben, and Dane. A second set of brothers, the Panchicks, Saxon, Scott, and Spencer. We have the Good Dudes team. We got Cole Sager, Jason Hopper, and James Sprague. That'll be a fun team to watch. And then, I reckon the team that'll be challenging for the top spot here, the boys from Canada, Brent Fikowski, Pat Valner, and Jeff Adler. And the team next to them, the team that they will be chasing, I believe, will be Rich Froning's team, Tyler Christoffel, and Samuel Cornier. We also have the GoWad team, which consists of 2nd fittest man on earth, Roman Krinikov, teaming up with the Frenchman, Willie Georges, and the Torium Pro champion, Jay Crouch. And then last but not least, we got Jonakowski teaming up with James Newbury and Nick Matthews. So as you can see, the men's teams field is just stupidly deep at Wodapalooza this year, and I do believe that Rich's team, even though the other 2 boys aren't necessarily known as individual athletes or have, you know, a history of performing at a high level as an individual, that doesn't matter. As we all know, that a team competition is very different to an indie competition, and just because you have 3 great individuals does not mean that they work well together in a team. So I do believe that Rich's team will still be the most oiled machine, and the Canadian boys as well as the defending champions, Noah, Chandler, and Travis. I think those will be your 3 teams that'll be challenging for that top spot. Let's look at the ladies' side. The first team on the list here, Andrea Nisler and Taylor Williamson. If you're not aware, those are the Mayhem athletes that were in Rich's team who just won the CrossFit Games. They are my favorites to win this. They were going to team up with Daniel Brandon, but I believe DB has pulled out. And from what I've heard is the Canadian Sydney Mikulishin is jumping in the team. So that team there is going to be the one to watch for me. And then the picture right next to them, the team that I think will be challenging them is the team of Mel O'Brien, Katrin Davis-daughter, and Annie Thoris-daughter. That team is insane. Sarah Sigmundsdottir is back, and she is teaming up with none other than our Aussie local Gold Coast girl, Caitlin Van Zale, and the Canadian Emily Ralph. We also have Amanda Barnard, Brooke Wales, and Christy O'Connell. This will be an insane team to watch as well. Then the return of Carrie Pearce, and she is teaming up with Ariel Lowen and Alex Kazan. We also have Alexis Raptors teaming up with Christine Columbrander and Fee Sigafi. How good is this team? Laura Horvath, Gabby Magawa, and Jamie Simmons. Another team that could do extremely well. And last but not least, we have Emma McQuaid teaming up with Jacqueline Drolstrom and Solvik Sigardasdottir. So there you go. Once again, just wild on the ladies' side. It really is a freak show, isn't it? All these super teams being created. It's going to be a fun weekend. The interesting and unknown element here though is that a lot of these athletes doing the teams are also competing in the indies on the Thursday, Friday, the 2 days directly before the team comp. So it's going to be interesting to see how the individual competition affects these athletes going into the team comp with no rest. On the men's side, I've kind of arranged these pictures based on how I think they might finish for the weekend. We have Ricky and Roman at the top. They are both doing team as well. We have Pat Valner doing team. I don't believe Guy is in a team. Saxon Panchik, he's doing team. I don't believe the youngster Dallin Pepper is. Nick Matthews is doing team. So is Cole Sager, and so is Jonakowski. So the only 2 men on that list that is not doing team is Guy Malheros and Dallin Pepper. Now, obviously, this is not the full list of men's competitors. I've just put some of the top names there. Moving on to the ladies, we've got Paige Powers. Sarah Sigmundsdottir is doing indie and team. So is Emily Ralph, Emma Tall. Emma Carey is returning to competition after her injury, so it's going to be interesting to see how she's recovered and progressed over the last few months. We've got the legend Danny Spiegel doing indie and Ariel Lowen doing indie as well. So that is your Wodapalooza preview or summary. We might still see some other teams and names pop up over the next couple of weeks, but we are getting close now. So I can't wait to watch this live. And if you have any chance, any opportunity to make your way to Miami and be part of the Wodapalooza weekend, it is unmatched. It is the biggest party in the CrossFit space, on the CrossFit calendar. So if you can make it, absolutely do it. Then the next bit of news is that CrossFit released the dates and the venues for the semi-finals. This is way ahead of schedule compared to previous years, so well done CrossFit for getting these dates out early. Athletes can now look at that and already know where they're going to be competing and when they're going to be competing, so they can book their travel and be on top of all their plans for the semi-final weekend. Weekend 1, we're going to have North America East and Africa. Week number 2, we're going to have North America West, Oceania, and South America. And then the final weekend, we'll have Europe and Asia. I'll be back at Vitorian Pro, the Pat Rafter Arena. I've already started planning some fun stuff for that weekend, so I absolutely cannot wait. Then the last bit of news is the CrossFit Games Open equipment list has been released, and there are a few little things to talk about. The Open will kick off on the 16th of Feb. It is going to be 3 weeks again, which I absolutely love. I do hope that this year they do the same thing as in 2021, where one of the weeks they had 2 workouts. So you end up having 4 scored events. Last year they only had 3 scored events, so I hope they bring the 4th scored event back, maybe like a lifting event that is paired with a Metcon. But yeah, that's exciting. 16th of Feb, put that in your calendars. Join me, let's do the Open together. And as far as the equipment list goes, here's what they've added. They have added kettlebells, 16 kgs, 24 kgs, and 32 kgs. So 1 pood, 1.5 pood, and 2 pood. Pood, did you guys know that kettlebells are actually measured in pood? 1 pood is 16 kgs. Crazy stuff, isn't it? So they've added kettlebells, and there's been a bit of speculation as to what they're going to be doing with those kettlebells. I do not believe that they're going to be doing Kettlebell swings, just because the standard is too hard to judge. I also don't believe they'll do something crazy like a Turkish get up, but what I do think they will do is maybe some box step ups on the front rack, maybe some overhead lunges, maybe a kettlebell snatch, perhaps. That's probably easier to judge than a swing, but nevertheless, it is good to see a new piece of equipment included in the equipment list. They are also bringing back, finally, the rower and the wall ball. We haven't seen that over the last 2 years. They got rid of that, but they are bringing it back. So get rowing, get doing your wall balls, because they are coming back without a doubt. And then lastly, they have added a 70-pound or 32.5 kg dumbbell, which is heavier than we've seen in the past. It just says a single dumbbell, I believe. So again, it might be a heavy dumbbell snatch or a lunge or a step up, something of that nature. But that's kind of the updates on the open equipment list. Guys, tomorrow morning, the 28th of December at 6 a.m. AES, Australian Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna be running my very first live bodyweight workout session here in the garage. So if you're able to tune in, that is 6 a.m. Brisbane time. Jump on your phone, figure out what time that is where you are in the world. Hopefully you can join me. It's gonna be a short 15-minute WOD, bodyweight only, no equipment needed. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's the first ever one, so I'd love to see you there. And if you can't join in, you'll be able to watch it back on the channel later and give it a go. And then lastly, all my Lightroom presets are currently 25% discounted. So if you have a New Year's resolution to learn how to edit photos on your phone better, this is the way to do it. Buy some presets, apply them to your photos. It is like magic. My tribe, that is it. We are back with the About Last Week videos. I'll do these every Monday to recap the previous week if there was anything noteworthy. Hope you enjoyed that. Stay sexy, keep roaring love. See you soon. Mwah.